Hey everybody, how's it going? Adapa11 here with another Star Wars action figure review. This is from 2007. This is Star Wars Comic Packs Empire number 39. This is the Star Wars Empire comic line, 30th anniversary. Dark Horse Comics, 20 years, but I suppose this is the 30th anniversary for Star Wars. So number 14 for the comic pack series. And here we have what is, let me get the zoom in here. Lieutenant Jundland, and Deena Shan. Now this is actually Luke Skywalker and Deena Shan in disguise. So these are rebels dressed as empires. So that's pretty cool. Get the best of both worlds here. Now let's take a look at the back. Zoom this up a little bit. Okay, now I don't know too much about I am collecting the comics more. I'm going to eventually read them because they're scattered. And I don't want to start getting in the middle of I want to start from the beginning. So eventually I'll get there. But here's this. As part of a rebel mission to rescue Joran's soul from the Imperial base on Callist 6, Luke Skywalker pretends to be Imperial officer Lieutenant Jundland. He unexpectedly encounters an old friend from Tatooine whose knowledge of Luke's true identity may jeopardize the mission. Meanwhile, Deena Shan leaks the false information about the rebels' base to lure Imperial forces into a trap, but at a heartbreaking cost to her. Very intriguing. I do have this comic series. I did a review. Oops, come on now. I did a review on Mouse and Bezo. So that's 37. This being 38 or 39. Wow. Okay, cool. Tying them together like a puzzle. Anyhow, enough of that. Let me open this up. Let's take a look at the figures. Okay, so here is Deena Shan. Now, I am very impressed with this rebel slash an impersonator of an Imperial officer. Very nice done. Very nicely done. I am actually impressed. More impressed than I was anticipating. So here, let's take a look. Okay, now they did a really good job, I believe, on the facial sculpt and the paint job. There's no blemishes that I can find. She's not cross-eyed or anything like that. No dripping marks or offsetting paint. Really nice job. Even the eyeliner's on point. Ball joint articulation. Now, does that hat come off? Oh, it does. Oops. Okay. So let's take a look. Oh, bummer. Okay, yep. Taking that off. Taking the hat off. Got a blemish on her hair. I should have been more gentle. That's totally my fault. Anyways, I guess I'll just have to keep that on there. It was on there pretty tight, but apparently it bonded. Can't see it now. Anyways, very nice. Let's see, the articulation I'm very impressed with, as well as we have ball point articulation at the shoulders bilateral, at the elbows as well. And we have swivel at the hands, or I should say wrists. There is no abdominal crunch, but there is a swivel option. So the skirting, as you can see, does not really, well, it does somewhat inhibit movement of the legs, but not as bad as I've seen on other figures. It doesn't come down as much, but you can still get some movement. But you know what? I still don't think, let me back up here. I still don't think you're going to be able to get her to sit down in an officer's chair. So, yeah, I guess the skirting is kind of in the way. Oops. Ball joint at the knees bilateral, ankles as well. So she's got really good articulation, except for, this inhibiting any kind of movement, compared to a lot of the officers that I have seen, which you will see here in a moment. Her blaster is your typical Imperial blaster. There's no sheath, holster I should say, for her weapon. No extra paint detail. As you can see here, you can see the paint detail on her waist, rank, insignia, and it's a really, really good job, I think. Now let's just go. Oh, you know what? What I always like to do is I like to check the bottom of the feet too. I'm trying to get in the habit of showing this on my reviews. Now the bottom, of course, not all the holes on all figures are the same. So let's see if this will fit into a Marauder. Yep, a Marauder stand. This one will have one that'll fit most of these action figures from Vintage and Legacy and whatnot. And you can fit your old Joes and whatnot on there, and Star Wars. So fantastic right there. Okay, let's take a look at Luke. Come on now. Luke Skywalker. She was a fantastic figure. Luke here, not so much. Okay, now this is what... Now, Luke here is a prime example of the problem I've seen with a lot of Imperial officers. I probably have, I don't know, maybe less than 15. Well, with these two, it might make it 15. I don't know off the top of my head. But as you can see here, the articulation is swivel at the shoulders, bilateral, angled swivel at the elbows. You do get swivel at the wrists, swivel at the waist. You do get swivel and movement blocked also by the skirting. No articulation at the knees or ankles. And it is ball joint at the head. I don't want to end up breaking it. It's pretty tight. But, I mean, the mold is okay, and when you put him into a stand, and I had to put him into a stand, when you do put him into a stand, he stands at an angle, foot off. Otherwise, if I take him out, he wants to move forward. So I have to kind of have him exaggerated back like this, which is a problem for a couple of my officers. But... at least the paint detail is, the face detail is pretty cool. Does his hat come off? Watch me take some paint off your hair. Okay, the hat came off pretty easily. Not too bad. Okay, cool. But they opted not to paint the inside of the hat for some reason. Well... take a look at them. I guess that's it. And the blaster, the same. There is no holster, no paint detail. And let's zoom up here for the lightsaber. And it's just pretty much Luke's lightsaber. Well, you know what? For $20, that's how much I bought this for. No sales tax. I bought this in Oregon, Happy Valley, outside of Portland at the Star Wars store. And yes, when I came home on the plane, my carry-on luggage was stuffed with nothing but Star Wars action figures from the Star Wars store, or from Star Wars store. There is no the. So, this is one of 2 in that package. So, well, that's it. Here's Luke with the lightsaber in his hand, and it's just kind of a clumsy figure. As you can see, it took me a while to get that set up. Sorry about that. But there you go. She's an awesome figure. Deena is an awesome figure there. So, as far as the comic, I have not read it. I will not. I'll include some pictures here, but just to kind of back up. There you go. Looks like a nice comic. Okay, so there you have it. Well, thank you for your time. Thank you for hitting that like button and subscribing. Stay tuned for videos in the future. Take care, everybody, and may the Force be with you. Goodbye.